Super Smash Bros. Ultimate truly lives up to the name, providing the definitive Smash Bros. Experience. Every character from every past entry in the series, along with plenty of newcomers to form the greatest video game crossover of all time. With DLC Pack 1 now wrapping up, we got a pretty good idea on what to expect in terms of newcomers, especially now that more characters are confirmed to join this legendary game. Ultimate is unlike any game in the series, and pushes the boundaries of what a Smash Bros. Game is. Ultimate has broken the mold, smashed the rules, and has beyond exceeded our expectations. With nearly 80 characters in the roster, it is doubtful we will ever get an experience like this again, and thus I have to throw my hat in the ring one more time to showcase my top 10 characters that I want for the DLC. These characters are a mix of Nintendo and third-party characters, and fit a certain criteria, that being that they are likely candidates, have extreme moveset potential, and of course are characters that I really want. Basically meaning that despite the fact that I really want to see Starfy fight against Snake on the Memento stage, that's probably never going to happen, so he's not on the list this time. Smash Ultimate isn't just a celebration of Nintendo characters, but also a celebration of Smash Bros. As a series. You can genuinely tell that Sakurai is putting his heart and soul into this game, and that it's definitely something he cares a lot about. For that, we can only wonder how much longer Sakurai will be able to do this after he's given us so much already. It's starting to feel like Ultimate is the swan song for Sakurai, and that they're building this game to be the finale for his direction with the series. Even if Sakurai does stay on, the next Smash game won't happen for a very long time, and to go from such a massive project like Ultimate, the next game might have big changes to the roster and formula to make the new game feel fresh. And if that's the case, then these are the DLC characters that I want to be included in this legacy. This is our last chance to wish for our favorite characters to join this legendary roster. So everybody get ready, for the last time, here are my top 10 characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, DLC Edition. Number 10. Starting off our list at number 10 is going to be Tracer from Overwatch. When we think of the biggest and most influential games of this generation, there's no doubt that Overwatch is one of them. It made a huge cultural impact, and I think it deserves to be represented in Smash. And now with the game being ported to Switch, now is the best time. There are plenty of great Overwatch characters they can include, such as Genji or Reaper, but I think the most logical step would be to go with Tracer. Not only is she the mascot of the series, but I also feel like she has extreme moveset potential and would be a great character. I think the most potential lies within her teleporting abilities, as we've seen characters in the past attempt something like this but never truly mastered it. By that I'm talking about Palutena and Mewtwo. There are characters like Zelda, Palutena, and Mewtwo who do have teleporting abilities, but they're only really used in certain situations offensively. Rarely is it ever used in neutral, and I believe Tracer can really take advantage of that teleporting aspect, put that into her entire game plan, and create a bunch of unexpected scenarios and mix-ups. It would be difficult to fight against Tracer with her blinking around everywhere, but she'll have low damage attacks to compensate for her unpredictability. Having Tracer along with some unique stages and spirits representing Overwatch as a series is definitely something I think should be included in Smash, and that's why I think Tracer should be in. I think it's easy to say that Fire Emblem Three Houses was a massive hit. It received very high critical praise, and it redefined what we think of Fire Emblem games. With how well Three Houses did, I think Nintendo is very interested in adding a rep from the game. That's why at number 9 I have Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. Sure, there are already tons of Fire Emblem characters in Smash, I get that. But I really think that Byleth brings a lot to the table that could really make for a cool character. I don't want to give anything away about the story, but I will say that there's a lot of mysticism around Byleth that you slowly uncover throughout the story. and I think that could be something that they subtly include within his gameplay. On the surface, he is a sword fighter, but using the Sword of the Creator, there's a lot of potential there. The Sword of the Creator can expand and be used as a whip, and I think that would be really cool to incorporate into his gameplay. Byleth would have sword and magic attacks, along with Divine Pulse that would be somewhat of a counter. He would also have the female variant. Honestly, I can see this going both ways. I would understand why Nintendo and Sakurai wouldn't want to add another Fire Emblem character, especially since they added in Chrom, which kind of caps off the generation of Fire Emblem that we've been living in. However, I could definitely see Nintendo wanting to add a Switch exclusive character to represent this game in general, to push the sales of that game also. They could even add a different character than Byleth, like maybe Edelgard or Dimitri. And while I do think we have pretty much a perfect cast of Fire Emblem characters, I would love to see Byleth come to Smash, which is why he's number 9 on my list. And on the list for number 8 is Steve from Minecraft. Now I know that Steve isn't the most popular option among Nintendo fans for a Smash character, but I think what people are forgetting is that Minecraft is so cool. Seriously though, I was a huge fan of Minecraft when I was a kid, and even recently I just play multiplayer with my friends and we spend hours in one world. It's a lot of fun. Everyone loves Minecraft, and it shows, as it's one of the biggest video games of all time. When Minecraft was really kicking up back around 2013, it was a worldwide phenomenon, and it pretty much still is today. I think if Sakurai wants to make this game a celebration of the biggest and most legendary video game series, then Minecraft should be one of them. Steve has crazy moveset potential, with a moveset including his building technique. He could trap his foes by building around them, then use his powerful weapons like a diamond sword, pickaxe, flint and steel, and more. Essentially, with all the building and block movements, Steve could be the Tetris character we'll probably never get. Steve would be a great inclusion for younger fans and older fans who grew up with Minecraft, and I think that his inclusion is just really smart, especially if they want to capitalize on the biggest video games of all time. If we take a look at the past DLC picks for Smash Ultimate, I think it's clear to say that a huge factor in picking the characters is how well the company gets along with Nintendo. Of the companies that are really close with Nintendo and haven't had a rep in Smash yet, it doesn't get much better than Ubisoft. Not only does Ubisoft support Nintendo by porting their games over to the console, but they even made their own Mario game. Because of this, I think it's only a matter of time before we get a Ubisoft character in Smash. You could say that the Rabbids should be that rep since they do seem to be pretty popular, but I think the clear choice here would be to go with Rayman. I think Rayman's got what it takes in terms of bringing a lot of variety to the table. There's no other character out there like him. I think that there's a lot to work with in terms of a potential moveset. Rayman would have a bunch of unexpected and far-reaching attacks. Since he doesn't have any limbs, it would be hard to get a read on what he's going to do next. Rayman would be a close-quarters brawler, focused on positioning and many light attacks in succession. Probably void of any projectiles, Rayman would be focused on approaching the enemy. Because of the nature of his game, I'm sure he would be very good at jumping and staying in the air. Perhaps they can even implement floating mechanics similar to Peach based off of his hair. In terms of external attributes such as advertising, I feel like Rayman would be a valued inclusion since he doesn't blend in with any other character, new DLC, or even from the veterans. If you ask me, I think that Rayman is someone that Nintendo definitely wants to include in Smash. I want to see him in Smash, and because of that, I really hope to see him sometime soon. For number 6, we have Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. Lloyd Irving has been a highly requested character for a very long time, and rightfully so since his game is great. With Tales of Symphonia hitting the GameCube in 2004, Lloyd Irving would be one of the very few third-party characters that originated on a Nintendo console. Lloyd would be Namco's second representative in Smash, right behind of course Pac-Man, And considering the fact that Bandai Namco is literally one of the developers of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think that Lloyd Irving has a pretty good shot. Lloyd will be representing the Tales of series, which is one of the big RPG giants in terms of Japanese RPG series. The series is also a close supporter of Nintendo, with Tales of Vesperia just getting ported to the Nintendo Switch. With Lloyd being a dual sword wielder, I feel like he could bring a lot to the table that other sword characters don't. Having two swords can definitely give the Smash team a lot of creative freedom with his moveset, as they don't have to worry too much about copying other sword fighters. Besides sword attacks, Lloyd also has a plethora of special attacks such as Demon Fang and Sonic Thrust that they could also add it to his moveset. We also have yet to see Lloyd's Mii costume from Smash 4, and quite honestly, I don't think we will be seeing that Mii costume. I think the potential is too high, and I really believe and hope that Sakurai has bigger plans for him. I always used to think Lloyd was cool and would be a good addition, but it wasn't until recently that I started playing Tales of Symphonia on my GameCube that I really realized how cool it would be to have Lloyd and his game represented in Smash. With how beloved Lloyd and his series is, especially in Japan, I think it won't be long before we see him in Smash. I'm sure we are all quite well aware that there are tons of playable Pokemon in Smash already, especially with Ultimate adding 4 playable Pokemon characters that weren't in Smash 4, with Pichu, Pokemon Trainer, and Incineroar. Pokemon has the most playable Smash characters to date, and rightfully so since it's one of the biggest franchises in all of history. Video games are not. Pokemon is massive, and Nintendo knows to utilize this property to their fullest extent, which is why in every Smash game ever released so far, we have had a new playable Pokemon. With a new Pokemon game on the rise, and with how well a new Pokemon character would sell for the DLC, I think a new one is likely. The question is though, which one would they choose? After all, there are over 800 Pokemon, and many of them are very popular. Also remember that there are likely to be some cuts to the Pokemon roster in future Smash games. And if that's the case, instead of it being a Pokemon Sword and Shield rep, I would rather it be an iconic and massive Pokemon that's easily recognizable and has a lot of potential. A character that only Sakurai can make work. Lucky for us, there has been a character that's been going around in many Smash discussions. One that I personally believe would be perfect to cap off all the Pokemon characters that Sakurai has worked on. It would also be a good character to fit in with this roster of the Pokemon characters if they ever make future cuts in the series, as they would have all the most iconic Pokemon in Smash right now. I think that Pokemon should be Eevee. Now I know what you're thinking, and I get it too. There are already so many Gen 1 Pokemon already in Smash. Now I would love to see a character like Sceptile or Infernape, but I just don't see them happening. If they're gonna make a new Pokemon that doesn't represent a new Pokemon game, then I think Eevee should be the pick, as she's iconic and has crazy moveset potential. And by moveset potential, I'm talking about incorporating all of the evolutions that we find throughout the Pokemon series. This might sound a little bit too overwhelming, but trust me, I have a pretty good idea of how this could work. To start, base Eevee would have very fast but light attacks that are easy to combo. As you go along in the match, you will start to build friendship with the Eevee, as indicated by the hearts next to the stock icon. Once attained full friendship with Eevee, now the player is granted a choice of the Fire, Water, or Thunderstone. You'll be able to pull up a menu choosing which stone you want to give the Eevee, which eventually leads to which evolution he gets, Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon. Kind of like Arsene, choosing to evolve will grant more access to better abilities and attacks. Each evolution will last until the stock ends, and you cannot change evolutions once evolved or go back to base Eevee to evolve into something else. Now there are, of course, 5 other evolutions, but don't worry, they're included as well, especially with Espeon and Umbreon. Espeon will only be available after achieving max friendship when you still have low percents. Meanwhile, Umbreon will only be available if the player is at a high percent. These 2 evolutions will be more powerful than the basic 3. This will give the player the incentive to wait for the opportunity to use Espeon or Umbreon. Essentially, it will be up to the player to choose how confident they are in the match. If they are destroying the opponent, they will be rewarded with Espeon, or if they are getting destroyed, they will be granted with Umbreon, and an opportunity to make a comeback. Strategy plays a big factor, as the player must judge whether or not they should evolve into the first three and only receive a minor upgrade, or wait and take a risk to receive a bigger upgrade. Now for Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon. I believe that these would be random picks that you could get throughout the match without having max friendship, and you wouldn't be able to evolve into them. Leafeon would use magic roots to heal Eevee, Glaceon would use ice to make him very defensive, and Sylveon would boost base Eevee stats all around the board, being the rarest of the three. Overall, I think Eevee being a representative of evolution in Pokemon in general would be really cool, and I think he deserves to be in this collective of the most iconic Pokemon in Super Smash Bros. Coming in at number 4 is one of the most wanted and most highly requested characters in Super Smash Bros. History, Geno from Super Mario RPG. What can be said about Geno that hasn't been said yet? He would be perfect for Smash. Geno just radiates coolness. I mean, there's so much mysticism around this character that it's honestly so cool to me that he has so much fan support. For how long and how much people support and love Geno, I think it's definitely a priority for the Smash team to put him in. I want to see Geno get resurrected from that Mii costume, and I want to see Beware the Forest Mushrooms as a track and ultimate, and a Forest Maze stage and ultimate. Honestly, Geno's time in Smash is way past overdue. It's been way too long, and Geno is way too cool to be left out of Smash any longer. So please, make it happen. Now on to our top 3, and at number 3 we have Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You is one of my favorite video games of all time, and it just got recently ported to the Switch. If you play the game on handheld mode, then you have the definitive version of The World Ends With You on the Switch, and it's pretty great. Ever since I played The World Ends With You back in 2012, I've loved it, and I've never wavered from wanting Neku in Smash since then. If you're wondering what The World Ends With You or Neku is, it's a really old game from back in 2006 that got great reviews but was never as popular as it should have been. It originated on the DS, went over to the iPhones for a little bit, but then came back to Nintendo for the Switch port, and now the state of the series is still kind of undecided. I understand that out of Square Enix characters, he's not the most popular to get in next. But this isn't a predictions list, and I really want to see Neku in Smash. His primary source of combat would be the pins, with the main one being Shockwave. Cutting through air is something that no other character does, so that'd be really cool to see. Neku could use all different kinds of pins that he could seamlessly switch throughout his gameplay. I know that this is probably the least likely character on this list, but I still really want to see it happen, so that's why Neku's at number 3. The duo that's coming in at number 2 is Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade 2 is one of the greatest games on the Switch and one of the best games I've played from this generation. The demand and potential is high, and I think Rex's time to be in Smash is now. He would be the second character from the Xenoblade series, however would play very differently from Shulk, with a moveset centered around him being the driver of the Aegis. I believe that Pyra as Rex's blade would be a huge part of the moveset, making them a duo character. Now, it might seem pretty impossible to have these two as a duo character due to technical limitations. Furthermore, we all know that Pyra is more than capable of taking care of herself in battle, and I think it'd be really cool to see her as a solo character, but I think that having this dynamic duo would best represent the game and the story between them. I have a pretty good idea of how this could work without completely breaking the game, so let's get into that. My idea is that Pyra would be in the background of the stage, much like Pokemon Trainer. She could walk around in the background or be on a platform, and she would aid Rex in his special attacks. Rex has his standard specials such as double spinning edge, anchor shot, and rolling smash. Each time he successfully lands a hit using a special move, it improves his neutral B, which is a special meter. This works similarly to how it works in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where you use your special attacks to build up your special meter, which has 4 levels. Each special move allows you to use a co-op attack with Pyra, where she will aid Rex in the attack. Essentially, your main goal would be to fill up the meter. It has 4 levels, with level 4 being the strongest. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has really unique and kind of complicated gameplay, and I think this would be a great way to introduce that gameplay style into his moveset. However, we're not done. When Rex has Hyper Sense, Pyra will switch to Mithra and will receive a boost in power for special moves and basic attacks. The way to balance this in terms of the grand scheme of things, I would say make Rex slow, much like Shulk, but when he uses his upgrades he gets a high boost in power. Much like Arsene, Mithra would only be out for a certain amount of time. And in the case with many players, 4 or more on the screen, I would assume that Pyra would only show up in the special moves. However, that would be a shame since they are meant to be a duo. Rex is a very popular character from a very popular Nintendo series that has already received support from the Smash dev team with a Mii costume and songs from his game, but are not the best songs from Xenoblade 2, so maybe they will put in those songs when he gets in the Smash. Counterattack, more Ardain, you know what it is. I just really hope it happens soon because I believe they would make for an awesome character. We're almost to number 1, but before we get there, let's move on to some honorable mentions. Of course, there are so many other characters that I wish I could have put on this list, and I did struggle a lot while making it to decide my perfect 10, but there are some other characters that I believe would make great additions, so here are the honorable mentions. And in no particular order, we have Chibi Robo, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Master Chief, Cosmos, Dixie Kong, Akira from Astral Chain, my boy Starfy, Waluigi for the meme, and you know what? I'll throw a wild one out there. Adol Kristen from the Ys series, because I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And if it does happen, you heard it here first. Maybe. And while we're at it, I think Monster Hunter will be the next DLC character, the 5th fighter in the Fighter's Pass. This is my second time making a Smash characters wish list on this channel, with the first time being before we even knew the name of Ultimate. Of that list, 1 character made it through so far, which was Banjo and Kazooie. And right before number 1, here's a quick recap of our list. At number 10, we have Tracer. Number 9, Byleth. Number 8, Steve from Minecraft. Number 7, Rayman. Number 6, Lloyd Irving. Number 5, Eevee. Number 4, Geno. Number 3, Neku Sakuraba. And number 2, Rex and Pyra. And now on to number 1.
This? Yeah. It's always closer than you think.
And number 1 is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I've wanted Sora in Smash for as long as I can remember, but I never thought it was possible. However, that was all before this, and especially this. With Smash Ultimate, nothing's impossible, and Sora is one of the most highly requested characters for Smash. There are so many fans out there that love Sora and want to see this happen. I want to see Smash take on the Kingdom Hearts series and give it all the attention and fan service that it does for other series it's included so far. Kingdom Hearts deserves to be represented in Smash, as it's a legendary RPG series in gaming history, with one of the most absurd yet charming and engaging storylines out there, blending fantasy elements of both Disney classics and Japanese RPG adventure games. Kingdom Hearts revolutionized action RPG games, being one of the very first examples of RPGs with exploration and air combat in a 3-dimensional space back in 2002. And while Devil May Cry came out right before that in 2001, it did not have a fully controllable camera like Kingdom Hearts 1 does, which makes a big difference. Kingdom Hearts not only represents a huge reinvention of action role-playing adventure games, but also a legendary series that has been consistently popular and revered for a decade and a half. Furthermore, no other video game series has had a continuous canon story spanning this long, with 3 of those games being on Nintendo consoles. All 3 of which are heavily involved within Sora's storyline throughout the plot of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has a long history with Nintendo and contributed a lot to how we see current games, so because of that, I believe Sakurai knows how important Sora is and how much he would mean to the fans if he got in Smash. Moving on to his inclusion, I believe he would use his Kingdom Hearts 3 outfit as default, but also have his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit. Maybe if they go the extra mile, they could add the Kingdom Hearts 1 outfit or another one of Sora's many costumes. Sora has been playable in 6 different Kingdom Hearts titles, 7 if you count the multiplayer mode in 358 over 2 days, so there's no shortage of potential moves here. Sora has enough abilities such as Ragnarok, Sonic Blade, Ars Arcanum, Stun Impact that will make him a unique enough character from any other swords fighter. Not only would he have those abilities, maybe some flow motion and more, but I also believe he could have a blocking mechanic as a counter. Perhaps they could use the mechanic from Kingdom Hearts 3, where depending on how well timed the block is, the more damage or less damage it does. There are tons of different stages that they could pick from the Kingdom Hearts original worlds, such as Hollow Bastion, the Keyblade Graveyard, the World That Never Was, and Twilight Town. Now the big question is, what to do with Disney? As we all know, it's a huge part of Kingdom Hearts, and Sakurai clearly stated many times, only characters that appeared first in a video game can be in Smash. And while Sora did originate in a video game, Donald and Goofy didn't, and I don't think Sakurai would include Sora without them. And while you could say that they're using the versions of Donald and Goofy that originated in Kingdom Hearts, it is a bit of a stretch. That might make this sound impossible, but that's what Kingdom Hearts is all about. The idea of Kingdom Hearts doesn't make sense. A video game of Disney and anime characters should have never made it past the planning stage, but they made the impossible a reality and in result, created one of the most successful and beloved video game series out there. The story of Kingdom Hearts is one of perseverance and hope, breaking the mold and redefining what's possible. And now I believe Sakurai and Nomura can tell that story again, but now with Sora lighting his way into Smash. Well guys, that's my list. Be sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and also tell me what your top 10 characters for Smash is. I'd love to know everybody's ideas and opinions. As you could probably tell, this is my biggest video yet, and I've been working on it for about a month. So be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and also consider subscribing. Also, let me know if you did get to watch the whole video. Let me know if I should keep on making longer videos like this, or if I should keep them short and sweet. Always open to hearing some more feedback from the audience. Again, these are just my opinions, and if any of these characters get in, especially somewhere in the top 5, I will be very, very happy. But other than that, that's all I got to say for you guys, so until next time, I'll see you later.